All right, tomorrow we probably have one of the biggest boxing fights, probably of the decade. Like that, I'm just leave it like that. Two legends are coming out of retirement in the Legends Only League. Mike Tyson will be fighting Roy Jones Jr. in a charity boxing event. So just to inform the viewers on how this is gonna go. So they're having 8 2-minute boxing rounds. There's gonna be no knockouts, no headgear. If there's a cut, the fight's gonna stop. They're gonna have judges who are former boxers. Um, uh, and honestly, before I go into like my opinion on the fight, I just want to like list some accolades that both of them have. Obviously, we'll start with Mike Tyson, considering everybody knows who Mike Tyson is. But Mike Tyson was a former undisputed heavyweight champion. He was actually a two-time heavyweight champion. He was the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history. He was 20 years old when he won that title. His career record is 50-6 with 44 KOs. He has the fastest knockout in heavyweight boxing history. He was Ring Fighter of the Year in 1986 and 1988, and he is a member of the 2011 Boxing Hall of Fame. And for Roy Jones Jr., for many people who don't know who he is, he has a boxing record of 66-9. He was a 1988 Olympic silver medalist. He got robbed in that fight. Just go look at it. Um, he was he was a Fighter of the Year for Boxing's Hall of Fame in 2003, and he was a 1994 Fighter of the Year for Ring Magazine. He was actually the only fighter to go from junior middleweight to start off at junior middleweight in his career and have fights all the way up to heavyweight. He is a five-time division champion. He's won championships in middleweight, super middleweight, cruiserweight, lightweight, and heavyweight. So that's five. That's five championship. That's five divisions with at least one championship. And honestly, both these guys are great fighters. Both of them were pound for pound number one at one point. First of all, I just want to say this. I know the rules sound kind of whack, and that's what a lot of people are upset
I
about.
was just gonna get to that. Like, I get it's like a charity fight, but no knockouts. Like, come on, what's the fun in that? Like,
Not even
come
that.
on
It's
now.
like one more thing I forgot to mention is there's going to be like no gambling odds, so people who want to gamble on the fight can't do it. But here's what I'm saying: if you expect Mike Tyson and Roy Jones, okay, and a lot of boxing fans know how good Roy Jones is because a lot of regular fans, like regular casual fans, they do not know how good Roy Jones is. We hear Mike Tyson, we automatically think like oh my God, it's Mike Tyson, which is understandable. It's Mike Tyson.
Scary ass human being.
Yeah, like Mike Tyson, I feel like can knock out any human on planet Earth. So, like, with that being said, I understand it, but people got to go back and look at what Roy Jones did in his career, and it is something that a lot of people just cannot do. You tell me a guy who can go from 150 pounds in his career and go all the way up to 200, and go from 150 to like 180 consecutively back and forth. You can't do it. It's like it's really hard to do. He was a professional's professional. They call him the perfect boxer for a reason. Now, obviously, they're older. Mike Tyson is 54. Roy Jones Jr. is 51. But look, if you expect Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson to step in this ring and not box each other, you're out of your mind. Okay, if they go full blown hard, if they go full blow for blow each other, somebody's getting knocked out. Okay, whether the rest want to see it or not, there's gonna be cuts. And it'd be a shame if I'm telling you, it's probably gonna be cuts within the first round. I'd be ashamed to see the fight get stopped in the first round because of cuts.
Let
So
me tell you
like,
something. Let me tell you something. All right, you already know who I got for this fight. It's pretty damn simple. It's Mike Tyson. But, like, his work's cut out for him. I mean, like you said, Roy Jones is considered the perfect fighter, and his background proves it all. But I mean, yeah, you're right. You're out of your mind if you think they're not gonna go blow for blow. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I think this is gonna go the distance. If I'm being really honest with you, I still think Mike Tyson will walk out with a dub, but I don't think it's gonna be like a blowout. I think it's gonna be closer than everybody thinks. To be
well,
honest with
according to them, they're saying they're gonna have no winners. Like there is no winner, which I think is weird.
you. Yeah,
Because I guarantee you, Mike Tyson is gonna like ask him, you better give me a winner, because like he's Mike Tyson, everybody will, and they'll definitely give him a winner and like
yeah,
tribal,
right.
but honestly, like they're wearing 12-ounce gloves, which is heavier than the regular, I think 8-ounce that regular boxers use. But honestly, this is just like all I'm saying is these rules. I don't feel like they're gonna. I really don't feel like these rules are gonna really apply in this fight. It's on like I mean it's on pay per view, and a lot of people are going to be paying for pay per view. If this is what the rules by they're going by, a lot of people are going to get ripped off because people did not pay
That
money on
much money just to see no knockouts
to
happen or
watch
no
a
winners.
fight get stopped in the first round because of a cut. You know, I mean, if it gets stopped in the first round because like Mike Tyson right hooks Roy Jones or Roy Jones like freaking two pieces him, then yeah, I can understand. Then I can understand it. You know, then I got my money's worth because it was an actual boxing fight. But I'm here to watch an actual boxing fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. I agree with that.
With that being said, people don't know Roy Jones Jr. is my favorite fighter of all time. I love Roy. Mike Tyson is my second. I mean, I do love Mike, but like not as much as Roy. So I'm really cheering for Roy to win this fight. I mean, look, my mind is telling me, Mike Tyson's gonna win this fight, but my heart is telling me Roy,
Your
and
gut
that's
tells
what
you
that's
that
what I'm gonna keep.
wins.
Yeah, like
Like
that's what I'm.
there's
That's
a head feeling and there's a gut feeling. You know what I mean? I get exactly what you're saying.
Well, the other thing that people are not like really focusing on is obviously they're focusing on names, Mike Tyson or Roy Jones. But Roy Jones, last time he fought in a fight was 2 years ago. Last time Mike Tyson fought was 15. So that's like a
A long time
13.
ago.
That's like a 13-year gap of fighting. So like Roy Jones is probably more fresher than Mike Tyson. And I've seen the sparring videos of both of them. Both of them look unreal. For
I'll
54
tell
years
you what, I seen it too, and I was like,
the way Mike Tyson's like hitting the pads and everything, it's with that power, it's insane. And for age 51, the speed that Roy Jones has in his hands, it's ridiculous. It's speed that me and you don't have. It's power that me.
same thing with Mike Tyson at 54. I mean, that guy is absolutely ridiculous.
I'll say this though. Mike Tyson right now, I think, has more of a fighter's mentality, which could help him win that fight. Because the way Mike Tyson is thinking right now is like, look, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna destroy my opponent. Despite all these rules, he don't care. He's going in because Mike Tyson said it himself. He says he only knows one speed. He says, I only know one speed. I only know one way to fight, and that's the way I'm gonna fight. You're not gonna tell Mike Tyson,
A fight in another
oh, well,
way.
take it. Yeah, same thing with Roy Jones. Roy Jones only knows one speed too. Roy Jones is going to give it 100%. So you can't tell Roy Jones Jr. not to go and to take it easy on Mike neither. It's what I'm saying. Like, if for people and like I just want to say for people who don't like, everybody knows who Mike Tyson is, and that's why I'm not telling you like go look up Mike Tyson. I mean, if you don't know, go look up Mike Tyson. But like for people who don't know how good Roy Jones was, look up his highlights. Look up
Absolutely.
the type of guys he's beaten. The guys he has beaten are future Hall. He's beaten a lot more future Hall of Famers than Mike Tyson has. Period. He's beaten. In my opinion, I think he's accomplished more than Mike Tyson. I'm being real
Yeah,
with you.
yes, yes.
I'm not joking. Like 5 division champion. You know what I'm saying? There's not many fighters that can do that. In case that people don't know, like middleweight, he won his first championship at middleweight. Okay, middleweight is 150 pounds. Okay, his last championship was at heavyweight. You have to be at least 200 pounds to win the heavyweight championship. He was like 201 or 203 or something like that when he won it. So think about it that way. You won a championship at 150. I think super middleweight's like 155 plus, like plus all the way up to like 160. Then you go to I believe it was cruiserweight. Cruiserweight's like 175, 180. Then you go from there to light heavyweight. Light heavyweight's like, oh no, light heavyweight I think is like between like 180. I think cruiserweight's like 175 or something. And then you go to heavyweight. So like, I mean, look, I'm just telling people, like, go look up both these fighters. I mean, Mike Tyson, everybody knows what the hell he's done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, Mike Tyson is probably, in my opinion, Mike Tyson has to be one of the most exciting fighters in boxing history.
Absolutely.
Period. Like, you tell me one guy that you paid, you like back when people were watching fights with Mike Tyson, they were paying money on pay per view to watch Mike Tyson knock someone out in less than a minute or less than a round or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get that no more. What kind of people, what people do you see now that are willing to tune into a pay per view Deontay Wilder fight and watch him knock people out in the first round? They don't, because Deontay Wilder, as much as I love him, was not knocking people out in the same fashion as Mike Tyson was.
Yeah, right.
And the other thing with Mike Tyson was I could talk about these two all day long, but he had such an aura to him, like the black trunks, no socks, black boots, you know what I'm saying? He had such an aura to him. It was almost like this like monster was walking in. He never really spoke. In his prime, he wasn't really a trash talker, It was towards the later on where he became one, but he was never really a trash talker. As for
Right.
Roy Jones was the opposite. Roy Jones was flashy. He always had the flashy trunks. He always talked trash. But he knew how to back it up. For as long as he could, he knew how to back it up. And both of them, like, they come from rough beginnings. Um, but honestly, I cannot wait to see this fight. This fight was supposed to happen back in 2003. I remember they were talking about it. Mike Tyson and Roy Jones were talking about having this fight back in 2003, but it just didn't escalate to a signing. And I wouldn't have wanted to see that fight in 2003, to be honest with you. Roy Jones was still in his prime. Mike Tyson was lead going out of his prime. But now we get to see this fight. And I think, like, even though they're out of their primes, both of them have not the same skill set because they obviously got different skills, but they were both in the same shape at this time to where it's kind of a fair fight. And a lot
Yeah,
of people
right.
might not think this is Mike Tyson, but like go check out Roy Jones. You'll know it's a fair fight.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
can't wait to see it. It's on tomorrow. Tomorrow, I believe the fight starts at 11. I think the main card starts at 11 or so, or the fight starts at 11. It is on pay-per-view and Triller on the Legends Only League.
I can't wait to see this fight. I'm excited for it.